Good morning. Today is Monday, February the 6th, 2012, 6:20 a.m. My birthday. So happy birthday to me. I've just turned 44, unless somebody lied about my birthday. Anyhow, this is an encore video for Moses Znaimer, and I think now this is enough attention I've given it to him, because I did get a lot of attention too from him and his family and some of his affiliates and associates. But this is positive attention I'm giving him, not negative attention. And then after this I have to produce 1 or 2 videos for some other people. And then of course, aside from YouTube, there are other forms of communication that are less public. So I would have to actually use those less public forms of communication to get some other things done. So why am I doing this encore? Well, it occurred to me I better check my statistics about age expectancy. So according to the Statistic Canada's information compiled on January 14, 2008, average life expectancy for a male living in Ontario is 8.4. But again, I haven't really done deeper research, so these figures can be fully refined once you look at the, where the person was born, what year in the history, etc., etc. Now, and the average rate of death was 74.2 in year 2005, according to Statistics Canada and CBC. It's posted news. But again, just numbers. Some numbers are real, other numbers people make them up. So I guess by these kind of statistics, Moses have actually survived. He's not dead, which is good. So I'm assuming he would be probably 74.2 right now. Anyhow, this is talking nonsense and gibberish. So what I'm going to do is, I should really interview him soon, because his life expectancy is running out according to the averages calculated by Stats Canada for men living in Canada. And as far as my expectancies after making these videos, maybe running out pretty soon too. So I will defy the averages. But anyhow, forget about averages and below averages and above averages. Unexpected things do happen. Okay. So there has been a lot of revolutions going on around the world between 2008 and now. Some revolutions are new. Some are actually old revolutions that have been simmering under the surface since World War II and even prior to that time. But there's a new revolution which some of you may be aware of and some of you may not. And that revolution, I've given it a name. And it's called Saima's revolution. So basically I've named the revolution after myself. Saima's revolution, not Fidal Castro's revolution, not Hitler's revolution, not Arab Spring, not Cold War, and not the Russian Revolution, not the American Revolution, blah blah blah. Saima's revolution. Now what is Saima's revolution? Some of you may already know about this, so if you do, you can call me or write to me and let me know. And those of you who don't know about Saima's revolution will learn about it soon, starting today. Meanwhile, I also let you guys know we have a revolutionary toilet in our home. Very interesting. Every time you go to the bathroom, you have to face the revolutionary toilet. I haven't taken any photos of the revolutionary toilet to share it with the world. It's good to keep some things private, some things to oneself. So for right now, revolutionary toilet remains private in our house. So this is it. That's all I have to say. And Moses, as president of CARP, maybe I should get the membership for myself, the one I was actually paid for my terms in November. So can you get one of the CARP workers to actually do something about this membership that I paid for toward the end of November? I do want my monthly magazines. I do want all my benefits that come with CARP. So here's CARP, pamphlet for sure. And yes, I'm not a criminal or a terrorist. So stop trying to get me arrested. And same goes for the police. Stop wasting your time by annoying me, by trying to hide some of your incompetence, and by trying to hide some of the incredible stupidity that some incompetent and racist police officers committed against me. And same goes other stupid racist people who are quite selfish and self-serving. And then to cover their butt, it's easy to label people, it's easy to harass them, it's easy to call them names. Sure, why not? Anything to appear right or good or whatever. By the way, Saima's revolution, I'm only giving it a name for the rest of you today, but it's a revolution I've been living with for over the last 25 years or more. And I'm only 44. To me, I started that revolution consciously or unconsciously around 1984, 1985. Or maybe even before that. I don't know. I'll have to think about these things. There's always so much to think about. Okay, this is it. And now I have to make some other videos. Maybe Ploice Chief William Blair can get a video too from me. Or William Blair now, if he's still around. Yesterday I tried sending him an email, but it kept bouncing back from his email address and from his Office of the Chief of Police address. So if he gets my today's YouTube video, it's a shame, because I would have preferred to keep our communication private. But unfortunately nowadays nothing gets done unless people make a big splash about it in public. That's a shame, but what can we say? Everybody wants recognition for their work. Well, actually, why should I make another different video? Why don't I just include him in this video, since he's downtown too, working. Yeah, I want to question him. Do they have audio or visual tapes of the incidents that occurred between myself and whoever, civilians or people who were working at the police station on May 2nd, 2008? I think it was around late afternoon, probably after 3:30 I was there. And then I broke into an opera song. Maybe that's why Officer Chris Johnson was trying to choke me, because they realized what a beautiful voice opera I have, and they wanted to ruin my future in singing by choking me and making sure that I didn't have any vocal cords left. So we need to listen to that beautiful song, swearing song, people who likes to swear and listen to swear words, and see what kind of melody it was in there. And maybe I will make it to the Guinness Book of Records, and so does the police headquarters at 40 College Street. Because I don't think they've ever had anybody at any police headquarters in any country, including Canada. People swearing at me in such a beautiful, melodious manner, such a operatic voice. I could be wrong. It's good to communicate sometimes and set people's delusions and illusions straight. To let them know sometimes, no, girls, you don't belong in the World Guinness Book of Records. We have had many incidents like that at the police headquarters in Canada and around the world. When people actually entertain, people come in and they entertain the police and whoever is working and those who are around, civilians, with songs. And that reminds me, for fairness to myself, Officer Trish Johnston, Sergeant Skinner, those are the only two names that were mentioned in the court records of people accusing me of assaulting them. Not the other way around. Not them. Not it says that they assaulted me. It's like I assaulted them. And how about all the other people who were present, who were working on the job, on duty, and those civilians who were there? I think I have to be fair to them. I have to be fair to myself. So I think we should have a open and honest court hearing, or at least an internal hearing about this matter, instead of me accepting under duress, and Constable Trish Johnson accepting under duress, that the charges against me would be dropped. But just pretend nothing happened. So no need to question anyone. No need to expose anyone. Maybe somebody called in a political favor on my behalf. And maybe somebody decided they have to cover their butt by making sure there wasn't a fair trial about this incident. Anyhow, we'll have to deal with these things. I am feeling reasonably well enough to appear in court. And we can't just wait forever. After all, this is going on to the 4th year. And by the way, I do have a sibling, a younger brother who's a police constable, who's been one for over 10 years now. What a shame, the guy never gets promoted. Wonder why. Maybe he's not a good police officer. Maybe he's not a good police constable. I don't know. Or maybe he's really good. I have no clue. I don't work with him, and he just doesn't discuss his work with me. After all, why should he? Don't you know? We should separate our work lives from our personal lives, and I'm just part of the personal life, not the work life. My brother is not as wise as our local M.P.P, Lorenzo Brodnetti, and his former secretary turned wife, turned, city councillor, Michelle Brodnetti. That couple is so wise. They know how to mix their personal and their work lives. My brother never learned that. That's why he's not getting ahead in life. Actually, he's going to sink lower and lower, and so will his family. Because in today's world, we need people like M.P.P, Lorenzo Brodnetti, and his ambitious wife, Michelle Brodnetti. And, by the way, that's not to say M.P.P Lorenzo Brodnetti isn't ambitious. Oh, he is very ambitious. It's a very good idea to marry a smart, beautiful secretary, and then to make it look like a virtue to young people, like as if it's the great romance saga of the century, and steal other people's ideas and their election platforms to get ahead in life, and to pretend that you're helping people, and actually you're helping yourself. and destroying anybody that you think may be a potential competition. And by the way, how is the former city councillor for this area, Mr. Scarborough Southwest, Adrian Heaps, doing? Is he still around? Is he still alive? Has he recuperated his damages of giving, what, 20,000 that he settled for in court for being, what, sexist toward Michelle Brunetti? Wow. I wonder if there's a court for me, where I get settlements too, for people being sexist, racist, stupid towards me. Now, if Michelle or Lorenzo wants to sue me for making this video, go ahead. Make my day. Make my year, as a matter of fact. Because I feel nothing but scorn and contempt for both of that stupid couple. And it's too bad they only live 2 doors away from me. If Lorenzo have anything to say to me, he should say it in public, just so it goes on public record. And I wonder if both of the so-called power couple, or lack of power couple, would be giving me part of their salaries. Because, I mean, after all, you guys did use a lot of my resources when your paychecks and to so-called get collected. You know, sometimes the phrase cream rises to the top comes to my mind. Then I understand scum floats to the top too. It's always very interesting sometimes to think about how much scum there it is in politics, in entertainment industry, in sports industry, in a lot of industries that has floated to the top. So what does that mean? Should we be, I don't know, eliminated scum now that it has risen to the surface, instead of operating below the surface? And what about cream? Is there any cream left in politics, in entertainment industry, or in any other industry? And by the way, don't feel I'm picking on Lorenzo and Michelle. You know, sometimes people only talk about what they know more and best. And I want to be fair to the N.D.P and the Conservative and all the other parties. I can't speak of any of the scumbags and corrupt politicians in these other parties because I'm not an N.D.P-er. I'm not a conservative. And God knows whatever other parties that are around that I don't pay attention to too much. I only paid attention to liberals for a long, long time. Just because I was stupid enough to pay attention to them because I was born into a liberal family when I was younger. And then over the years, as various members of my family became disenchanted with the Liberal Party, they switched. Some became conservative, some became N.D.P-ers, some became apathetic, some became, I don't know, whatever they became or didn't become. I hung in there with the Liberals. Why? Because I was naive to think there was actually some good in this party. And then I hung in there out of anger. And a little inspiration I draw with Prime Minister Stephen Harper, the Conservative Party. And the inspiration was that he actually went through the trouble of merging Reform and the Conservative to make the Progressive Conservative Party at a time when Reform and the Conservative Party itself was at an all-time low. So I thought, well, maybe I'll be able to do some good for liberals again. Maybe we can help them clean up their act. Oh, this is as good as I can get today. And I cannot wait forever for my mental health, for my physical health, for my fitness level to improve. before I actually use my Canadian citizenship rights to see if some of the things that are protected under the Charters of Human Rights actually work for me. Not just for other people. And by the way, Michelle, long time ago when I first came to Toronto from Peterborough after living there for over 17 years, I left a very nice letter for you at your house. I think it was 2006 or 2007. That's after your husband Lorenzo had told me that we were neighbors and I should stop by sometime. And you were new in the community, so Michelle could use a friend. And after I'd felt sorry for you, given a little bit of a dirty campaign Adrian Heath was doing against you, I thought he was being sexist, so I felt sorry for you because I had been on the receiving end of sexism myself. So I wrote you a very nice letter, but that was a reflection of who I was at that time, not who you are, because I really don't know you well enough, and I never knew you well enough to say those kind and nice things towards you. But I have gotten to know you more between 2006 and now. You're a fake and a user, just like your husband is. Maybe he did have some integrity sometimes, which he lost. Must be love. And by the way, the kind of scummy politics the Liberal Party engages in Scarborough Southwest is no better than the kind of scummy politics Liberal Party engaged in Peterborough, Ontario. And the reason why I was turfed out of, or at least maybe one of the reasons why I was turfed out of town or harassed out of town in 2006. So how great the Liberals should feel now that they have some in common with the N.D.P, the Conservative, the Independents, the crazy, the loonies, the sanes, the fit and the unfit, the fat and the skinny, male and women. Male and female, not women. But you guys all have corruption in you, greed in you, ability to be fake, to want to get ahead in life by stealing, by cheating, by lying, by accepting bribes, by cutting corners. Makes me think of the fall of Brian Morney. Yes. So how human we are. See, it's our common humanity that unites us. I just like to know, is there a common humanity of decency in any of these parties left? And if it is, please let me know. So this should make everybody's life easy. This should make the court's life easy, the human rights life easy, everybody who wonder if I'm Michelle or Lorenzo's friend's life easy. And yes, Michelle and Lorenzo, if I happen to bump into you in public in a private setting, of course I'll be polite to you, unless you're rude to me first, and then of course if you're rude to me first, I'll be rude back to you. But as far as if you want to protect yourself against any of my allegations, after all, Lorenzo's background is in law, yeah, please go ahead, hire a lawyer, put in a complaint with the Human Rights Commission about these allegations. That'll give me a fair chance to further expand on these allegations. And by the way, I'd like to extend our invitation to three of my former professors from Trent University, Professor Ian McLaughlin, Professor Andrew Warnick, Professor Alan O'Connor, about wanting to participate in a research study that I'm going to be conducting this year about sexism, discrimination, competition, selfishness, self-preservation, humanities, inhumanity. And by the way, just because I'm mentioning these two professors' names doesn't mean that I've forgotten Jonathan Bordeaux. That's another professor who works at Trent. Or who else? Well, there's lots of names I can mention. I would love to have them participate in my research in an open, fair, honest manner. After all, we're all getting old. Unless somebody ever discovered a secret to be immortal and live up to 200 or 400 years, I think it's time to get together and get some things done. After all, shouldn't we be helping towards Saima's revolution? Forget about Fidal Castro's revolution. Forget about the Cold War. Forget about the Arab Spring, which is not a spring, by the way. It's more like Arab destruction. And that's what it should be aptly called, Arab destruction. And forget about the stupid so-called revolution of change that happened in the United States. What a joke. And oh yeah, and forget about Kate Middleton, so-called white middle class or lower middle class or upstarts or opportunists, blah blah blah, marrying Prince William. Is that the revolution that happened in England, UK? Forget about those. Those are just fake manufactured revolutions. Let's join Saima's revolution. A revolution in which, as Michael Jackson said, man in the mirror, you start with yourself and you start changing yourself. And you say to yourself, why am I so greedy? Why am I so ambitious? Why am I so hateful? Why am I so conniving? Why am I such a liar? Why am I such a user? And the list goes on and on. And when you find some of these answers, feel free to give me a call, feel free to write to me. So this is it again. And by the way, some of you don't know the difference between inspiration and stealing, between copying and plagiarism, between harassment and persistence, and due diligence and following up. And this reminds me, maybe Prime Minister Stephen Harper can watch this video too. It'll save us all some time. You should be aware of these things. After all, the word Prime Minister means something. Prime means first, primary, firm. Minister, he is a minister. He does have to make some really important decisions about his country and the well-being of its people. It would never hurt to give him this free information. I'm not getting paid to make these videos. I'm not a YouTube affiliate, so I'm not making any money from this. And by the way, let's not forget the students, and let's not forget my colleagues and associates and friends and enemies. I'll get to them this year too. After all, shouldn't we not be showing them the mirror? Of how stupid little they are, how fake they are, how much of users they are. So if you want to be real revolutionary, perhaps you should join Saima's revolution. And by the way, I'm working on a new game. So it's already been copyrighted and patented, so please don't steal it again, or copy it, or plagiarize it, or claim it as your own without giving you due credit for it. And this game is called trademark TM Oracle/Confessional. I repeat, this game is called Oracle/Confessional. Now, why Oracle/Confessional? Oracle is something that tells people about the future, about the divine. And confessional is sometimes criminals confess in court. Sometimes average citizens confess to the priest in the church, in the Catholic tradition or the Christian tradition. I don't know much about Jewish people. I don't know if they confess or not. Nor do I know much about Hindu Indian people, say if they confess or not. And same goes for Buddhist and atheist, if they confess or not. Yeah, Muslims confess too. They confess in court. And sometimes they confess during their prayer to God. Confession of their sins, confessions of their good and bad deeds. So I am looking for some partners to work with me on this game, Oracle/Confessional. It's an idea I came up with about 2 years ago, except I wasn't well enough to share it with anybody up until today. Besides, I wanted to mull over this idea in my head to make sure if it's something I really wanted to do, or if it's something that was another delusional, illusional, rambling, incoherent thought in my mind that was being brainwashed. Anyhow, have a nice day, if you're able to, after watching this video. Because sometimes I know truth hurts, and sometimes truth produces bitterness, because it's not as comfortable, and if it's sometimes not as pretty as the fantasies we create about people, or the lies we like to believe in, to make our life comfortable. Now it's 6:53 a.m., still February 6, 2012, according to my computer's time. I'm not sure what time it will appear when you watch this video, according to YouTube's time. This is it again. Thanks to all my friends who were working with Michael Jackson. Poor sucker got used by you people again. And that's okay. He had a good life, I guess. We'll have to expand on it more. I will have to expand on it more, and perhaps at a later date. There's always more to do, more to write about, more to think about. And there's time. I wish there were 5 or 6 or 7 of me, so each can do different work. Things will get done. Now you may wonder, why don't I hire a secretary? Why don't I hire somebody to work for me? Well, the answer is sometimes I don't have enough money to hire people. And the other time is, even if I had the money, I'm not sure people can be trusted, given the number of incompetent people I've had to deal with in various different professions over the years. So I wonder, if I hire somebody to work for me, will they be that incompetent? Will they be that dishonest? Will they be that much of a slacker? Or maybe they just like to play dumb sometimes to get rid of people that they're not really that interested in? I don't know. These are all interesting questions that I think about.